Good morning. I'm back in Shibushi, Japan. How about you, Blowy?
I'm in the city in Melbourne now. It's been on lockdown and I've got to come into work today, so I'm just going for a bit of a walk to show you what it's like at the moment. Construction's going on.
Okay, and today I'm on my rollerblades, which is a little bit different. I thought with Joe walking through the streets of Melbourne, I thought it would be interesting to take a skate through these streets. Oh, I'm on some very bumpy roads. And basically all these places are locked down for COVID. This is a bit difficult for me because Joe's in a large city, Melbourne, but I'm here in Shibushi, which is the closest town. But anyway, still thought it might be worth doing. There's some nice, interesting scenery that's going to be exotic for people who aren't from here. And today we're going to go back to the Brojects because we didn't get to finish all the Brojects. So I think the next one we were going to do was Bouncer's Tales, Blowy.
Yeah, Bouncer's Tales was one that could have made us rich today because I don't know if you've heard of the little animation called Bluey.
You'd have to be living under a rock to not have heard of Bluey.
Well, if you've heard of Bluey, then that was basically what we made, but about 15 years ago, 20 years ago, was it, Dave?
No, it wouldn't have been 20. I think it would have been about 2004 or 2003. 2003,
yeah. So, look, almost 20 years. And we had a cattle dog named Bouncer, and a blue cattle dog, and Dave and I wanted to use our skills in illustration and writing and graphic design, so we decided to make a kids book, illustration book, and it was called Bouncer's Tales because our dog's name was Bouncer and she has a tail.
Yeah, get it? Good little pun there, isn't it? And tales are also like stories.
So how did we go with that project, Dave? Did you say it was a success, or?
You'd come up to Tokyo to stay there for a while. I can't remember. No. Because I remember it was the same time that Dad was up there, but you were up there for some extended time when I was living in Tokyo and you were staying with me. And we went to a coffee shop, I think it was Tully's in Tokyo, and there was a bloke there who was writing a book on roofing. And we used to see him up there with his laptop working away in the cafe. And I think we got this talking after that, like what kind of book would we write if we were going to do one? And we thought probably do a children's book about Bouncer and her adventures. And we wrote the entire first one, didn't we?
We did. And I think part of it was it seemed attractive to write a storybook at a cafe, because that's when like Harry Potter and stuff came out, and we found out that she wrote the whole book at Starbucks, and it was kind of a romantic idea to be able to sit down while enjoying a coffee. And back in those days we had nothing but time, so, well, I did anyway.
I remember actually there was a bit of a running in-joke with us about taking a laptop to the cafe and not doing anything particularly important, but just to be seen with your laptop.
Yeah, we had a running joke about that, didn't we?
We did.
And we'd take photos when we're at the cafe and send them to each other. Unfortunately, we didn't have social media at that time, but or fortunately.
Hey, I'm just going to interrupt because I'm in front of a very big pile of logs. This is
logs.
Logs, yeah.
Yeah, nice.
So I'm down near the port, and all these logs. There's lots of like forestry trucks kind of passing through this area, and they bring all the logs here, and then they get onto ships. But anyway, I think it's quite interesting. It's quite a big pile of logs, and I wouldn't mind going up there playing on that, but yeah, one of them rolls, you're in trouble.
You're in big trouble.
You're in big trouble.
I might interrupt you as well, Kama, because I am just about to go up a massive spiral staircase which goes up to a sky garden.
Oh yeah?
Which is pretty cool. Hopefully it's open. So I'd love to see someone skate this ledge. I've seen some people skate some crazy stuff.
Yeah.
But this is kind of insane at another level. Oh great, it's open. It's a pretty cool sky garden here, yeah.
Okay, anyway, so going back to this Bouncer's Tales, you and I, if I can remember correctly, we first wrote out the entire story, and it was basically about our dog looking for a bone, and she went to all these different places with different people in different professions and asked them for bones, and they basically all turned her away until she got to the butchers.
And that was based on a true story.
That's right. Our dog used to she often used to go missing. There were lots of holes in our fence, so it wasn't hard to get out, but it was almost like there was timing to it, and our dog would kind of go missing at about 5 p.m. every day. And one day I happened to be up at the local shops, and I there was a butcher shop where the butchers there absolutely hated you and I, because we were always rolling around in our rollerblades, and they thought that was immature and silly.
No, and also because we wore baggy pants, that's why they didn't like us.
Yeah, and anyway, we saw these butchers really tender with our dog. G'day, Blue! And they threw. It was like in the cartoons where they throw a link of cartoons. Oh, sorry, of sausages.
Yeah.
And she kind of gobbled them all up, and we saw her pretty much do the same thing most days. She kind of had an idea of what time the butcher shop closed. So
one day she brought home like half a rib cage of a cow. It was like the biggest set of bones I've ever seen in my life. They must have loved her because they gave her a decent snack, didn't they?
They did. And I remember for the pictures, I think there were a couple of times where I kind of did a few rough sketches on a piece of paper and scanned that and sent that to you. But anyway, I'll try to tweet out some of these pictures from Bouncer's Tales. Do you still have the whole file?
No, I don't know where that is. It's long gone. I think that laptop died or something. But
And you didn't back them up?
Well, probably not. Yeah, but trust me, it was good, and it looked exactly the same as Blowy. So I think Blowy probably got their hands on that hard drive, and
when I saw the Blowy kind of came out, because I did some story or something I had to do on it, but I was just really surprised to think, this is the first thing I thought about was Bouncer's Tales.
Yeah, me too. So maybe there's a lawsuit there.
Yeah, I very much doubt it.
I doubt it as well, but and I couldn't be bothered, to tell you the truth. And I like Blowy, so.
I haven't actually seen an entire episode yet. I should.
Oh yeah, you can watch it on SBS, I think, or iView, one of those. Yeah. Anyway, what was our next project?
It gets a bit blurry after that because we kind of we weren't really in the same country or anything like that. Not that that's stopping us now, but we're gonna go. Because that was what, 2003, 2004. We're going to skip forwards more than, say, 10 years now to the next one, which came first. That's right, the Fuji ride.
Fuji, yeah.
Okay, so in Japan they have these bicycles that are ubiquitous. They're called mamacharis, which are Mama, obviously for the mother, the bike that the mother's ride, and Chari is short for chariot.
If you see one on your walk, can you show everyone?
Good idea. So they're basically a shopping bicycle with like a basket at the front, and they're really like a symbol of Japan. So Joe and I had an idea way back that we were going to ride the entire length of Japan on one of these mamacharis, and maybe write a story about them or something like that. And yeah, we did that, didn't we, Blowy?
Well, we didn't ride the entire length of Japan.
No, but I mean, we covered a lot of Japan. Wow, okay. What happened, Blowy?
Well, the Fuji trip, what we did was you're living in Japan at that stage, were you? Or no, you weren't.
It was one of the very rare times that we were in Japan at the same time.
Yeah, and we're both travelling from Australia on holiday, weren't we?
That's right.
Yeah, and so we decided to meet up at near Mount Fuji. No, we actually met up in the city in Tokyo, and yeah, and we're both filming it, and we met up and we caught a train, the Shinkansen, the bullet train.
Let me pause for a second. So we had this idea to ride the length of Japan on mamacharis, but we just looked at can you hear the 7 o'clock chime going off?
No, not on the phone, I can't.
You can't hear that? Okay. You'll hear it once.
Oh, I can hear a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, so that chime goes off all around Japan, pretty much 7 o'clock everywhere.
Well, in the country.
Yeah, all over the place. Anyway, so our original plan was to ride the length of Japan, but we just didn't have the chance in terms of time or being in Japan at the same time to do that. So we found ourselves in Japan at the same time, so we kind of brainstormed and said, what can we do? And we said, let's have a mamachari ride. So that much was decided. But my idea was to go up to the the tsunami area and ride around there, see how everything was recovering. And you were kind of, yeah, you weren't completely sold on that.
Yeah, I wasn't completely sold because you'd already done a video on it, and which kind of covered that. So I thought, let's do something. And look, the ride around Mount Fuji was pretty, sounded pretty cool, don't you think? Like the scenery, it's more of a holiday thing to do.
Yeah. Your counter offer was, hey, why don't we ride around Mount Fuji? And the moment I heard that, I said, yeah, that's a brilliant idea. And it was sold.
And look, I don't recommend doing it on a mamachari. They're not designed for, they're designed for the city, like riding in the city, doing your shopping, going home, buying a cabbage or something. We rode up the side of a mountain and a long way. How many kilometres was it? It was like nearly 200 kilometres, wasn't it? 180 or something?
I think it wasn't actually that much. I think it was supposed to be about 60 or so a day, but we did a lot of backtracking because well, it's just very difficult to navigate on your phone and ride down the side of a mountain on a mamachari.
And because we were relying on our Wi-Fi, pocket Wi-Fi.
That's right.
Which we had connected to our phone. We didn't have a local network or anything like that, so we were doing our best with what we had. And we were running out of battery, so we could only stop every like half an hour and look at the directions and go, all right, let's readjust. And we did get lost a few times. And the first day we were riding, we had quite an ambitious goal. Our goal was to make it to this lake, which was more than halfway around. And what we didn't realise was that the first day was all uphill. And when I mean uphill, I mean up mountain. So
it was, wasn't it, pretty much then?
Yeah. Even though we circumnavigated the Mount Fuji, there was a lot of mountains around it. And how many prefectures did we go through? 4, wasn't it?
No, I think 3.
3.
Shizuoka, Yamanashi, and what was the other one? Anyway, we used, I think, 4 cameras. I only had my phone with me. You had a GoPro, your phone, and a little Nikon mirrorless. And the idea was that we both had this. I almost ran over a crab then, but I managed to dodge it. Alive. Yeah, so we had these 4 cameras, and we I must have taken, I took my computer with me, because I remember I put them all onto a hard drive and made folders, so we had exact same footage.
Yeah, you had your laptop.
The idea was that we both go back to Australia and do our own edits of this trip, and then we'd upload them, and that would be the first time we got to see each other's edits. So have a look in this description, because we'll share that video down there.
The 2 videos.
2 videos, that's right. One, my video was about half the length of Joe's. Mine was about 15 minutes, and Joe's was half an hour or so.
I couldn't cut out lots of the footage. It was too good.
Yeah, you're gonna be brutal.
We did have a lot of this similar footage on there.
Yes.
It was quite interesting. Watching, we went, oh, yep. So.
Well, there were definitely key moments, weren't there?
There were, which you'll have to find out by watching. So one thing we did neglect to mention was what kind of gave us the idea to do this project was, remember we did the Hokkaido trip. Just quickly, we went to, when I was a student, when I was finishing.
This is pretty much the same time as Bouncer's Tales.
Bouncer's Tales, yeah, just after Bouncer's Tales. So my trip to Japan was ending, and Kama was still living in Japan, and I thought I'd do one last trip. So we had this special ticket that you could get when you're a youth in Japan, and basically you get 5 days of travel on the slow trains, and you can go anywhere within the country. Well, there's certain limitations, but we went all the way to Hokkaido from Tokyo, I believe, and in one day. And you're not meant to use this ticket to go over in the tunnel, because you need to pay a bit extra for that. But we played dumb.
No. When you didn't used to. Okay, so this ticket used to allow you to go. Basically, it's called the Youth 18 ticket, and it's like a slow travel ticket. So you can't take the real fast trains, but you can still cover a bit of ground in one day if you're prepared to give up your whole day and change trains every hour and a half or so. So the trip that goes from Honshu to Hokkaido, that's Japan's most northern island, originally you were allowed to take it on this ticket, because I did it about a year or 2 before that. But
okay,
so when I was on the train, I actually believed that we could.
Good one, Kama. Good cover up, yep, in case the Japanese government's listening. JR, all right, covered, nice. But anyway, we got up, we got on the very first train of the day, and we got off on the very last train of the day.
It was 4:30 or something, wasn't it? In the morning.
Yeah, it was at Tokyo Station, and then I don't even know how many trains we got that day, but it was a lot. I wish we would have made a video of that. That would have been good.
Well, I
don't know why we didn't.
I do not know what happened, but basically the GoPro stopped recording there. So I don't have the rest of the clip. There's probably another 12 minutes of talking. So I'm going to have to improvise somehow.
That's strange, isn't it?
What? You know about this?
Us not having a video camera.
No, so we didn't have a video camera, but we both had digital cameras, and we took lots of photos. And I added these photos to a very long text piece that I wrote about our trip that I put on one of my old websites.
Yeah, but anyway, what happened? Yeah, that's right. And then, so what was our
next project would have been Skate Park Etiquette 101.
Oh, Skate Park Etiquette. So, Skate Park Etiquette was...
Whose idea was that? Was it yours or mine? I don't
Yeah,
remember.
it kind of was both of our idea somehow. It kind of was little bits, and we just made it happen. So we were...
So I've played this back a few times, and I have absolutely no idea what we were talking about here.
No, I think this is when it kind of like clicked that it's like, all right, we enjoy similar interests and we work well together. I think it's being brothers or something might help with that.
No, that's not always the case.
But not always, no.
I know some brothers that don't get along at all.
That's right. And well, with our similar interests, we both and we're both happy to, wake up early in the morning and make it happen. So we don't have excuses. So we like getting shit done. So we're in Sydney. So Dave was living in Brisbane. I was living in Melbourne. We both travelled to Sydney for...
I made a mistake and said it was for my grandparents' wedding anniversary.
No, it wasn't. It was Grandpa's 90th birthday. Yeah. And so I was in Blacktown, and we didn't have much time, but we knew that in the morning, if we got up really early, we could go for a skate and make a video. So we got up at like 5 o'clock and borrowed our Auntie Barbara's car, and thanks, Barb, respect. And we went to Parramatta, was it?
Yes, it was Parramatta Skate Park.
Parramatta Skate Park. And we made this video which was teaching the kids, like, it came from a real need, this video. Like, these days you go to the skate park and the kids don't understand the rules of the skate park. Yeah. And it just makes skating a lot smoother and a lot fun, a lot safer for everyone. So we decided to kind of make a video about it, and we kind of had a bit of a joke and a bit of fun, but it turned out to be a pretty popular video, and
it's been my most popular video on Facebook. It's had 18.7 thousand views,
yes, that's
and probably about 2,000 views or so on YouTube. People seem to like it. They talk about it.
It was popular,
and it also had a lot of shares via Instagram, where it was chopped up and shared by different accounts.
Oh, Instagram got shared a lot as well. Yeah. So that will be linked in the description as well. And
this video is also on the playlist on our YouTube page. But it was a lot of fun making this one. We went down, just used Joe's GoPro camera and my iPhone for some extra bits of the video. It was a pretty simple thing. We just kind of shot each other. One was being the ideal skate park user, and one was being the absolute antithesis of that.
Yeah.
I think we also tried to figure out how the editing process was done, and that's where Joe kind of chimes in here.
Well, I edited it on the plane on my iPad, and then I sent you a copy of the cut down footage, and then you add some effects and graphics and stuff to it. Yeah.
And it really helps having somebody to do all that grunt work and go through all the rushes and remove all the bits that aren't needed. That's a time-consuming job, so when you get nice clips like that, it makes the job so much easier.
And funny thing was, I was watching Jeremy Clarkson talking about the Grand Tour the other day. He was saying that they film 1,000, for every 1,000 hours they film, they only use 1 hour of that footage. And look, we're not quite that bad. We probably are about 1/5, would you say? Yeah? For our stuff. We're pretty good at getting it first take, aren't we?
I think I said something about this being similar to the National Geographic ratio.
Yeah, well, we're not paid actors, so,
No, we were paid actors once.
We were, that's right.
In a television commercial, but that's a story for another time.
You just have to keep watching people to get that little nugget. You're not getting that nugget for free.
I broke in here to talk about a siren that I heard in the background, because it's very rare in this part of the world to hear sirens. I didn't think it was a police chase. I kept looking back and I saw that it was an ambulance. And that was probably going to be my first guess anyway. COVID-19. And then I segued to the effects that COVID had been having on the city that I was in. I kind of said, have a look around, it's very quiet, but also keep in mind it's just after 7 a.m. So,
yeah. Look, it's really quiet around here, and it's around about, what time is it, 8 o'clock here? Yeah, 8:15, and it's dead, but that's weird.
Yeah, I've played through this clip, and there's not really anything that gives me any context in regards to what I'm talking about. So you have to use your imagination here, folks.
Check it out. So what's our that brings us to the final the Brode trip. Yeah. So this was definitely when we were onto the name Brojects. Brode. We came up with the name Brode trip, which Kama came up with that one. I was quite happy with that. Yeah, I think so.
I said how basically, yes, it's a great name, but even though I came up with it, I'd looked for this name when searching on the internet afterwards, and I wasn't the only person to come up with this idea. Apparently, it's a pretty simple idea to come up with. There are lots of other Brode trips out there.
That's right, yeah. Look, it's hard to do something 100% original these days. Everything's been thought of, but basically it was just us getting together because we were living in different cities and we didn't get to see each other that much. So we thought we'd go camping on a bit of a road trip and go for a skate.
And this was just before I took off for my big world trip with my family.
That's right. It was our last chance to bro out with each other.
So the Brode trip itself was 2 nights away, but I think I spent maybe 5 nights in Melbourne with you, Joe. Does that sound right?
5 nights, yeah. Yeah, it was only like 2 nights, wasn't it? 2 nights camping. And so we got a hire car and drove west of Melbourne, down past Warrnambool, down to where did we go to? Portland. That was pretty. We went a little bit further than Portland, but yeah, it was a good trip. We saw some koalas and kangaroos, and
I said something about this being the first time I'd seen a
it was my
a koala like that in the wild.
That was my first as well. I saw this thing walking, and I'm like, what the hell is that? It looks like an injured dog that had like really bad hips or something, and I'm like, that's weird. That dog's just walking by itself. And I had a close look. I'm like, that's a koala. And so we ran and chased the koala, and he was pretty cool. He must have seen a lot of people before.
The koala didn't even seem to mind that we were there watching it climb.
No. And he just went up the tree and had a bit of a chill while we filmed him. We met some interesting people on the trip, some young lads that were impressing us at the skate park with their tomfoolery. Yeah.
I think this is when I asked if. I think this is when I said something
about
the kids asking us if we were YouTubers.
I guess we are now, aren't we?
I'm pretty sure this bit here was talking about when I was in Norway recently, maybe 6 months ago. And we went and visited a friend's primary school class. And we went in, that was Junko, my wife, my kids and I. And they weren't so interested at the start hearing us talking about our trip around the world. But the moment I said that I made a living making YouTube videos, all the hands shot up and they started asking me questions about my channel and how many subscribers I had. It was kind of funny.
Do you remember remember, if you haven't watched episode number 1, go back and watch episode number 1. But we were talking about how when we were younger we used to make these videos, the Kama and Blowy series. But we also made one which went on the end of a skate video which our mate Snaz made and sold at the local skate shop. And Pecking Like a Chicken it was called. And this Pecking Like a Chicken was on the end of the skate video, and we've kind of forgot about it. But what was your...
So in this video, my name was Sean, and I was an older brother of Arnold, you, Blowy.
Sean, that's right. And I was Arnold, yeah.
And I was very angry. And I remember that it was set in my bedroom, and I'd had a hard night drinking the night before. My phone rang, I pick it up, and it's a girl named Shanice, and she's asking me if she wants to hook up. And I'm like, yeah. And so we're just about to exchange contact details. I don't know why she was calling from a public phone. Anyway, the moment I was about to get this number or something, my brother Arnold, Blowy, opens the door and knocks the phone out of my hand. It falls
No,
on
the
the
phone
ground.
out of his hand and smashes it.
Been broken. We used
And we had a special effect.
baby powder, I think.
No, it's just flour, just normal flour. So it made it look like you could see the impact better. This was before any special effects on the computer. Like this was editing with VHS type of thing. So.
But although it was edited with VHS, I think the sound was all done on an MD system.
We did actually, yeah. That was we had Jim Tannick. He had some gear, so that was pretty advanced back then. But anyway, the whole point of this story was one day when we were at a skate park, someone came up to you and said, "Hey, you're Sean, aren't you?"
The kid came up to me and said, "You
Pecking like a chicken."
Are you Sean from Pecking Like a Chicken?" I said, "Yes." And he said, "You seem so much nicer in real life."
So much nicer. Yeah, well, you're a good actor, so you know, it was. Well, you sold it, didn't you? So that's good. But yeah, so that's our fame. That's the reach of our fame.
I believe I was wrapping things up at this point, saying that this was the last of our Brojects.
Yeah, that's our Brojects covered. Yeah, and like before, if you want us to talk about anything in particular, have any ideas, or just got any fan questions, feel free to leave them in the comments.
I made some tongue-in-cheek remarks here.
Our merch, yeah. No, but seriously.
Stop choking our channels. It's kind of overwhelming
yeah.
seeing all this fan mail rush in.
Yeah.
And then I think I made a comment about how we've inspired a sister publication. So JJ Welsh is going to do one with her sister.
Shout out to JJ Welsh.
I think she's going to do a walk with her sister this Friday, and it was inspired by this project.
Okay, so it's happening this Friday, is it? Well, you know what? Maybe we could ask JJ Welsh to join us in a walk one day as well. Yeah. So, anyway, that's it's been good chatting. Episode number 2.
And if you're wondering why this episode was a little bit different and we had the cameras facing us, this is because Mum watched the video and she said there was too much path. But Joe said no, we have to turn it around and see our stinking faces.
Stinking head, too much stinking Kama and Blowy head. Let us know. But otherwise, I think this might be the format going forward. All right, over and out. See ya. Coming at ya. All right, Kama. Mate, these bloody traffic lights aren't working anymore. Yeah.